Welcome back to Redbeard RPG and Pillars of Eternity. I think once we go down this way, I think we're going to run into the final boss here sooner rather than later. Let's check that map out real quick. Now, this appears to be a dead end. It does. In we go. Okay. Okay, we got Andra's Spire next. Maybe this won't be the end. Maybe we got to get to Mogweth. Depends on how quick we get through these things. Like that area took no time at all. What are you looking at? Something to interact with over here. Through the device atop the tower spins a blurring revelations. The air around is still and calm. You stand in the eye of the storm, which has cornered off Andra's mortar from the rest of Aora for thousands of years. You see an antiquated control panel, its levers engaged in positions of activation. Something about this place echoes in the ancient awareness, just corporate feelings of longing and distress around. Your mind is assaulted with complex symbols, postures, most of them beyond your reckoning. As a sensation pulls away, you recognize that is left behind, knowledge of water shaping that existed. I should say forgotten. A deep percussion shakes the tower by its roots somewhere in obscurity of the storm. Aethos rears back his fist to deliver a mighty blow. The control panel has weathered a million millennia better than the rest of the city. Layer of dust covers its elegant glass tubes, engraved copper levers, which appear to both be intact and functional. Deactivate, grip the largest lever, bring it up to its starting position. The vibration of the machinery gradually slows, and turbulent wind grows calm. Okay.
The machine controlling the storm winds down. The clattering of its machinery settles into a low whir and then, at last, hiccups to a halt. Beyond the tower, the black, roiling clouds of Andra's mortar roll away from the ancient city of Ukizo, with only a tired sigh of wind to see them off. And on that last breath of wind, comes to you a familiar sound. The ring of a bell. The bell's ringing is soft, not the clangor and torrent you've grown used to. It calls to your soul, and your soul yearns to follow it. Your soul flees from your body and into the beyond, chasing that sound. It leads you at last to Bareth's realm, to that cold platform and room of endless doors.
Watcher, your journey nears its conclusion.
The pallid night stands before you, her gaunt face impassive.
Finally, I'm nearly free of all this.
Free of your duty to me, perhaps. But mine is not the only tie that binds you. You have gathered quite a few since we first spoke.
Fair enough.
Soon you will confront Aethys for what will likely be the final time. And you will do so as the Herald of Bareth, the only creature on the face of Aora to whom he will listen. Remember that.
Okay.
The pallid night inclines her head to you, black hair hanging lank in her face. She steps back and cedes the floor to Helia with a small, resigned sigh.
If Aethys truly intends to go through with his mad plan to destroy the wheel, a generation's worth of souls will be trapped in the in-between. So many would suffer. How can Aethys be so cruel? He cannot just abandon them. Aethys must help the Kith find a quick solution.
Abaddon strides forward.
Aethys thrust this crisis on the Kith. They did not bring it upon themselves. Their only mistake was entrusting us to watch over them. Who will help them rebuild their world now?
I do not know.
Aethys will reveal every secret of the gods. Will Kith be able to change the established order if they have no wonder to inspire them? Aethys must help them resolve this quickly, lest every one of Eora's few remaining mysteries be laid plain.
It's Aethys' obligation to help us fix what he's about to break.
Coddled children learn nothing that is not spoon-fed to them.
I don't think you guys really coddle us that much.
With the wheel destroyed, Kith will tear themselves apart. It is the gods' duty to prevent that happening, lest they doom us all. And as Kith must be ruled, so too must the gods. I say that if Aethys is so eager to throw down the mantle of power and step aside, I shall take my rightful place as Queen of the Gods again.
Kith are strongest when they follow our lead, and we are strongest when we lead in turn. United in purpose with the gods, Kith can accomplish things that without us, they could never have even begun. They must be shown their boundaries to surpass them.
Kith will not solve Aethys' puzzle on their own. And without an established order to fight against, the bonds that bind them dissolve, and they fight amongst themselves.
No, we have to figure this out on in our own time, at our own pace.
That confidence is what will save Kith, Watcher. Do not lose it when you stand before Aethys.
Boudica's firm hand is but the motherly smothering of Helia by another name. Mortals should have no special advantages. Only once Kith have striven to improve themselves through trial will they truly know their measure. Kith must suffer to find their strength if they are to survive the world into which Aethys drags them. Our intervention in your struggle would be a cruelty and counter to our purpose.
He lets his words hang in the air for a moment. Gaze, level with your own.
Indeed. Kith must discover for themselves what it is they are worth, and of what it is they are capable. What we do for them, they do not learn for themselves. Trial breeds ingenuity. If our work of generations was not in vain, Kith will succeed in spite of Aethys' actions. I have faith in Kith's ability to meet Aethys' challenge. Do not mistake my words for indifference, Watcher. They are born from a fierce belief in your potential, not a refutation of it.
Thanks for that. Wodiko's been dripping pessimism in my ear like poison.
Margaret is blinded by her affection for mortals. She does not see that entropy is the destiny of all things. If Aethys were wise, he would destroy everything. End life, end reincarnation, end death.
Oh?
Kith have had their chance. It is time to let silence reign.
As Rimmergon's words fade, the Pallid Night returns. She no longer towers over you, a giant even among the gods, but meets you at your height. She lets the arms crossed over her chest fall to her sides. She speaks to you openly, plainly, an expression almost like tenderness, turning up the corners of her lips.
Well, Watcher, you know where we stand. What do you believe?
Everything that's happened, everything that will happen, it's the gods' fault. We're better off without you.
The gods were once Kith, thousands of Kith from long ago, but Kith still. If we are diseased at our core, as you imply, then so too are you. Now the time has come for us to part, Watcher. I laid upon you a difficult duty, and I know you desire to be free of it. You will be in time, but not now. You have work to do yet. You are no stranger to hard choices. You killed Theos, and when his soul was laid bare before you, you chose to destroy his memories. You freed him from his past. Remember the strength it took to make that choice, and know that you alone may sway Aethys now. When you stand before him, choose your words carefully.
She claps her gauntleted hands together, and a sound like thunder rumbles through the room. As the floor crumbles and falls away beneath you, you hear the sound of a single bell ringing, and beneath it, the faintest whisper.
Oh my goodness, there's Athos right there. Consciousness returns in a wave as the last of the machine's energy dissipates. The calming storm reveals a sprawling city around you like sand wiped from a mosaic. You see the distant outline of Athos raising his fist in triumph and purpose.
You keep falling asleep on me, I'm gonna have to start walking behind you with a pillow. Oh, by the way, the storm's gone. Also, I think Aethys has ended the world.
It very much looks like that.
If all your missions involve this many head wounds, then I volunteer to set the next one out.
Peering over the edge of the tower, you make out a distant shape amid the ruins below. A ragged ship has settled offshore where it lists at a drunken angle, the flag of Principe drooping from the tilted mast. The empty deck tells that the surviving crew has long since boarded a skiff and rowed towards shore, which means you're no longer alone on Ukizo. If there ever were a place for a final standoff, it's Ukizo. Alright, so where to next? Can't seem to go there. Seems going back is the only option. I guess we'll do that. I think now we can... Can we go here? No, but we can go here. And I think we can take that other stairway down to the city. Now that we took care of the storm. Here.
So now it comes to this, Mika.
Indeed.
You think to steal my golden dream, but I will not allow it to happen.
Oh, come on now.
My gratitude is yours for disabling the storms. It seems I did not require Rivan's ship to reach Ukizo in the end.
I guess... can we make a deal?
Not on your soul. I have waited for this casita for far too long. Until the next life? Nor perhaps not, considering.
Alright, looks like we're fighting these guys.
Are you ready?
You...
Lavaru beyond sick.
And we'll have you... That one.
Take that!
Okay.
Something you need? Don't push me, Amika.
Alright, back to what we were doing. Alright, now we can go there. Okay, I see. Alright, the last area. We know Aethys is here.
The ancient winding streets of Ukizo. Battered by storms for thousands of years, the ruins bear the marks of their role as the lone witnesses of the gods' great secret at the center of the city. The houses and boulevards are pierced by great spears of luminous Audra. There are no ashen bodies, No birds. No sign or sound of any life. But with every step, the rhythmic pounding in the distance draws nearer. Soon, you can feel the vibration traveling up your spine. As you approach the center of the city, the weathered architecture gives way to more luminous Audra, piercing the ruins, eventually overtaking them entirely. Cresting the top of a fallen tower, you finally get a clear view of Aethys. He stands, legs astride, next to a great stone monument ringed with 11 cavernous alcoves. All but 3 hold a gargantuan skeleton, bones scrubbed clean by the city's storms. An immense Anguithan machine floats above the monument, suspended by invisible energy emanating from a well of light beneath it. Great brass rings spin around a core of metal and Audra at the machine's center. Periodically, Aethys's massive arms swing back. The movement alone is enough to draw great gusts of wind toward him. When they come down on the machine, the impacts are accompanied by eruptions of electricity, fire, and smoke. The hundreds of luminous Audra pillars across Ukizo sympathetically dim in a rippling wave that spreads out from the machine. The only safe route to the god is a steep ascent along a monstrous pillar of luminous Audra, intertwined with fragments of Ukizo's ruins that it has carried through the centuries. The pillar bends in a long arc, towering above the machine. The pillar levels out near Aethys's head, a silent observer to the destruction of the machine it has grown beside over thousands of years. You weave your way along a treacherous rain-slicked path up the pillar's skyward side. As you arrive at the top, you catch Aethys's attention. Fist pulled back, he pauses to observe you. With the same gentleness he showed at Ashen Maw, he lowers his arm and turns toward you.
All right, looks like we got a chance to talk him out of it. Let's see if we can out-dialogue him.
Strange to see Ukizo in this way.
Indeed, it is.
It may be hard to picture, but this city was once full of life. The Huana, yes, but also kith from many other cultures. Great hanging trees shadowed these boulevards. Gardens sprawled across the open rooftops. Each spring, a festival procession would wind its way from the hillside into this valley. The celebrants would pass through a steep walk among the stalls of foreign merchants, flowers falling upon them from all sides. All people of all nations, together in a celebration of new life. Such was the power and beauty of lost Ukizo.
If we don't fix this mess you're about to cause, the whole world is gonna look this bad. I mean, it's a mighty heavy load you're putting on our shoulders. I just hope we can carry it.
As long as there are people like you in this world, Adair, I truly do. This power has always been in the grasp of mortals. Now you will finally be aware of it. Now you will be able to decide what to do with it.
Rawatai gave everything they had to reach this place. In the end, they fell short of hitting the mark. Will we ever have another chance to prosper? Or was this damn island our last hope?
Only you can answer that question, Maya. Rawatai has persevered through great adversity.
Okay.
The storms that ravaged your homeland have ended. But that in itself may present new challenges for your people. It is my hope that after I am gone, Rawatai will work together with its rivals to create a new world, instead of fighting over the ruins of the old. But what of you, Watcher? Why have you followed me? Have you come to bear witness to the breaking of the wheel?
Ooh, boy. Let's see. Mortals are going to need a head start in preventing the gods from reestablishing control. You need to inspire them.
Mortals are already inspired. It is what has pushed them on for hundreds of generations to reach this point in time. Animancy is poised to go far beyond what we Ingwithans ever discovered. Why does Helia think I should lend more power to mortals?
If this is truly for the benefit of mortals, you're obligated to set them on the right path, not just leave them stranded.
I see your point. Perhaps it was naive of me to think that mortals could immediately set about to fixing the wheel in the midst of such chaos. From where should mortals draw their inspiration?
They should look to the future. Their imagination and inventive spirit should guide them.
Very well, Watcher. I will ensure that mortals are inspired by my passing, that my power not be expended in vain. Indulge me in a moment's curiosity. There is something I wish to know about Aora, about Kith, that I can only learn through your eyes.
Go on.
You followed me all this way, dodging an armada, navigating an impenetrable wall of storms, voyaging across uncharted seas, with the machinations of gods echoing in your ears, all the while trusting in the institutions of Kith to get you this far, and earning their trust in turn. Whatever else happens this day, that much is remarkable.
Well, thank you.
I believe that mortals possess the strength to collaborate and shape a future of their own design. Not all of my brothers and sisters agree. By relying on others and coming together in a time of crisis, you illustrate my point. The gods will witness you and question their assumptions about how responsible, empathetic, and sophisticated mortals can be. What inspired your decision, Watcher? Did the choice echo your foundational beliefs? Or were you influenced by observation?
We need ingenuity if we're going to survive. It was a logical choice.
I thank you for your perspective. Yours is not the only opinion that concerns me. But for the moment, it offers much to consider. All I ever wanted for mortals was growth, transformation. Once, my brothers and sisters shared this goal. Some have forgotten themselves, giving into fatalism or tyranny. Others have succumbed to apathy. It brings me great sorrow that crisis is the only way to set the future in motion. Would that I could pass the responsibility of heralding your darkest hour to another. Never forget that trust and coordination between mortals brought you to this place. Your future is built on a foundation of hope, and you have laid the first stone.
Thanks for the lesson. What happens next?
I must attend to my final work now. I cannot delay any longer. You have carried a heavy burden across the Deadfire, Watcher. Before I go, I would rid you of it.
No sooner have Aethys entered your mind, you hear one final dissonant ring of a chime, and then silence. The knot that formed when the pallid night first addressed you in the beyond is gone.
You are free now. As free as any of us can be. Many will come to you for help in the years ahead. Animancers, priests, even the gods themselves. I have great hope for you. But always remember that your future is for you to decide. Use your freedom well.
Aethys squares himself to the machine. As you move to a safe distance, he draws his fist back and resumes his assault. The blows rain down with increased fervor, but the machine perseveres in spite of his efforts. Spreading his arms wide, Aethys draws power from the luminous Audra clustered around the valley. The energy courses through his body, limbs overflowing with intense light and waves of heat. He returns to his task, each strike bringing with it the sound of cracking stone and twisting metal, the flickering of luminous Audra across Ukizo. As the ancient machine finally begins to succumb to his strength, so too does Aethys's body, built to withstand the passage of thousands of years. The great Audra statue has finally been pushed beyond its limits. Cracks appear along the hands, then race up the arms. Aethys does not slow his assault, but continues unabated. Its brass rings twisted. The machine spins erratically but withstands the relentless barrage. Aethys stands astride it and pummels the base of the machine. Soul energy begins to flare out from the machine's heart, warping the air with the intense heat. Aethys drives his right fist into the machine's center, the core of metal and Audra. The god lets out a deafening shout, something between a cry of anguish and a roar of exultation. You see Aethys's arm shatter upward from his hand through his elbow. A flash of light and heat bursts from the core, accompanied by a cacophony of destruction. The moment passes as Aethys's shout echoes throughout the valley. Your eyes begin to recover. The god's work is accomplished. The great machine of Ukizo has been destroyed. The wheel has been unmade.
I hope that was the right choice. It seemed right. Let the people be free and kind of fend for themselves.
The enormity of what you've accomplished sinks in. You have confronted a god. You have rediscovered the ancient city where the wheel was forged, and you have seen the wheel shattered. What comes next is uncertain, but already the legend spreads of the Watcher, who survived Andra's mortar and stood toe-to-toe with Aethys. On your recommendation, Aethys disperses his essence, and that of the thousands of souls within him, to centers of knowledge and learning around the world. Animancers, engineers, wizards, and scholars of all stripes make astounding breakthroughs in understanding and harnessing the phenomena that govern Aora.
Okay. Sounds good.
Under the leadership of Director Alvari, and amply supplied with Ukizo's luminous Audra, the Valian Trading Company becomes the dominant force in animancy. Knowledge is gathered and hoarded, and rivals are recruited, discredited, or worse. The field of animancy is both invigorated and weakened by this fierce competition. While some of these developments prove beneficial to Kith, others are decidedly less so. But such is the price of innovation. What remains to be seen is how, indeed whether, they will restore the cycle Aethys has broken. At Ukizo, the Valian Trading Company discovers vast reserves of luminous Audra. Under Director Alvari's leadership, the company begins harvesting it at breakneck speed. The Songreta Mea Compressa hastily approves the construction of several temporary settlements. And the message is clear. The company is here for business, but not forever. Valian wealth flows into the archipelago, and what powers remain chase it desperately. Huana tribes compete with one another for contracts, and independent traders vie for business. Everyone seizes what they can while the boom lasts, anxious in the knowledge that, one day, the Valians will leave, and the contest for Deadfire will likely begin again. With the Kahanga monarch reduced to a figurehead, the Huana tribes fragment further. Some profit by working with the Valians, and others find themselves evicted from their old lands. But for many, life continues much as it had before.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I thought I had kind of sided with them over the Valian Trading Company, but I guess not.
The Valians' business interests trump their enmity, and they allow most of the Royal Deadfire Company's ships and personnel to remain in the archipelago to trade. Rauatai's legendary cannons pose little threat to them now. After all, the Valians could not want for better leverage than Andra's Spire. The storms across the Rauataian mainland subside along with those of Andra's mortar. However, Rauatai regards this respite with a wary eye, ever mindful that the machinery at Andra's Spire remains under their foes' control. The influx of Valian business into Deadfire creates an unprecedented opportunity for the Principes and Patrena. Though their dreams of conquest have been squashed, there are more than enough prizes passing through to keep the captains in silk and their crews fed and content. And business is good enough that the Sangreta is willing to write off more than a few losses with each transit. Despite other tensions across the archipelago, Port Maje remains a model of peaceful, productive cooperation between the Juana and the Valian Trading Company. Though they do not always agree, Governor Clario and Storm Speaker Ikawa work together for the mutual benefit of their people. As the balance of power changes in Deadfire, so too does Nekataka transform. The Valian Trading Company builds up the port in Queensbirth. The company's expanding presence, however, quickly outgrows the dockside district. Company facilities and personnel spread throughout Nekataka. The Kahanga leadership takes responsibility for the welfare of the Raparu, and the Gullet starts to improve.
Oh, well, that's good.
What was once a den of crime, poverty, and illness slowly becomes a quiet haven for the Raparu. With Skiarilifus's essence still empowering the Watershapers Guild, the practice of water shaping grows and flourishes in Nekataka, and its practitioners rise in prestige. They install conveyors in the falls that run through the city and craft sculptures for every street and plaza. Thus, the Watershapers Guild becomes a power in its own right in the city of Nekataka. Your brief encounter with Letharn proves deeply influential for the children of the Dawnstars. Plagued with nightmares and haunted by the deaths at Hesango, Letharn begins questioning his faith in Aethys. At first, his fellow Dawnstars chide him, but that changes as word of Aethys's deeds at Ukizo spreads. After all, what business have they worshipping a god who denied his own legitimacy? The faith of the children of the Dawnstars fades, but their commitment to the people of Deadfire does not. They continue feeding, healing, and helping the neediest, just as they have for decades. It is no longer a holy mission, but it is a mission all the same. With the Adra at Pokakohara destroyed, and hopes of a Valian outpost dashed, the tribes resolve to leave Tikawara behind. Small and mobile, they move amongst the Kuaorakuhu Islands, where they escape the notice of larger powers. Ships continue to disappear at the southeastern fringe of the archipelago, and stories circulate of a colony of vampires and gulls preying on their crews.
Oh?
The dragon, Neraskirlas, no longer passes between Aora and the White Void, and the dead flow slowly breaks apart, exposing the temple long frozen within. Under Halfjorn's guidance, the Harbingers of Dusk resettle within Remergon's temple, vowing to forever protect it from the defiling touch of outsiders. Over time, the group becomes increasingly reclusive and fanatical, attacking any who dare approach their holy site. In besting the Beast of Winter, you earned the Death God's mercy rather than his enmity. The deity remains characteristically unforthcoming about his decision, and you're left to wonder whether in doing battle with him in the White Void, you somehow furthered his apocalyptic ambitions. Once repaired, the Adra at the primal island of Kazuwari again pulses with the flow of soul essence between the here and the beyond. The feral life on the island flourishes, the jungles and veld growing ever wilder and resistant to settlement and exploration alike. The faces of the hunt continue to rule the Crucible and Gallowain's, or rather, Tawamawai's name. The trials summoned by the statue grow deadlier with each season, until only those rare few willing to brave the gravest of dangers seek out the bloody ordeals of Kazuari. Like the other souls following in your wake, Muatu eventually yearns to move on to the beyond and the wheel. Stymied by Aethys' actions, however, he settles on returning to Kazuari, where he joins the choir of souls that echo throughout the Crucible. Hundreds of Kith, and no small number of Wilder and Primordials, flee from the Black Isle, their minds a confused collection of inconsistent and contradictory memories. Each escapee bears knowledge that was once lost, and agents of the Hand Occult across Aora work tirelessly in the years that follow to hunt down and end these fugitives. They find far fewer than they hope. Slain by your hand, the Titan of Wal poses little further threat to Aora. As the corpse decays, it putrefies into a massive nest of hungry fungal monstrosities. Vessels that anchor off the shores of the Black Isles tend to go missing, only to turn up shipwrecked months or even years later against distant shores.
Interesting.
With time, the body collapses upon itself, and the Black Isles finally implode. Infrequent but persistent rumors speak of an island overrun by primordial spore creatures and ruled by a roughly Kith-shaped entity, more fungus than not. A creature well practiced at the most potent wizardry. No sailor or explorer, however, can furnish reliable charts to this fabled Isle of Decay. Though your adventures alter the destiny of Aora and the balance of power in Deadfire, they also leave a lasting mark on those who travel at your side.
Yeah.
Your companions find themselves changed, in ways both big and small.
Well, Loth is dead.
Adair returns to Hisongo, where he reunites with Byrne, the son of his former lover, Alava. The boy takes heart in Adair's account that Aethys and all the other gods were false, petty, and unworthy of the love of Kith. Realizing how close he came to dying for this cause, Byrne finds renewed purpose in working alongside his uncle to repair the many scars left upon Deadfire by the gods. Under Adair's guidance, Byrne grows into the kind of irreverent, stubborn hothead that would have made his mother proud. And Adair visits her gravesite, often to tell her so. Shodi is not a priestess who understands the meaning of subtlety. As such, she makes her girlish crush on Adair painfully obvious from the moment she first sets eyes on the strapping fighter. But as you all travel, Adair grows increasingly uncomfortable with her attempts to engender his affection, until he finally takes her aside and sets her straight. He's not interested in a sheltered, overzealous little girl, he explains in so many words. After that, Shodi turns a cold shoulder to him, sometimes forgetting to heal him in the chaos of battle. Or so she claims.
Interesting. I wonder if I traveled with her, if we could have influenced that some. I bet we could.
Shodi's journey through the Deadfire on your ship is an eye-opening experience for the sheltered farm girl. After many souls harvested, more lives aided, and much adventure had, the priestess declares her intent to rejoin her fellow missionaries at the Temple of Gon in Nekataka. Following a shy grin and an overzealous handshake, Shodi leaves you with an open invitation to visit her anytime. It is some months later when she pens you a missive. Can you hardly believe it? Her chicken scratch handwriting reads. Sawin sailing for distant lands. She's leaving me in charge of the temple. I've been named the High Priestess of Gon.
Well, good for you.
You let Rimaro go, and the former pirate ostensibly set sail for the trade lanes of the Eastern Reach, the Edier Empire, Old Valia, and the Republics. For the remainder of your time together, Seraphin seems, if not exactly happy, at least contented with the outcome of your confrontation with his former mentor at Sayuka. After your encounter with Aethys, the pirate drifts into quiet contemplation. As you sail into your next port, he meets you at the ship's rail. He'll be leaving the gods to you going forward, he tells you, and saving his bullets for those like to die from them. Seraphin parts company with you not long after. Occasionally, in the years that pass, you hear tales of his ship, the Taste of Freedom, and its violent exploits against any and all who would purchase or purvey Kith.
There we go. Excellent.
For assisting the Watcher in securing Ukizo for the Valian Trading Company, Pallegina is honored in a ceremony at Biajepe, attended by all 5 of the Duke's bells.
We didn't even use
Duke
her at all.
Ramasi is so overjoyed by his good fortune that he offers Pallegina a boon. She immediately takes the Duke up on his offer by requesting that the ducal charter of the Fremas Mes Consualias be amended to allow the admission of women. Soberly, the Duke accepts, much to his chagrin. The following spring, the Brotherhood admits its first 5 girl cadets.
Well, that's good.
Following her triumphant return to the Republics, Pallegina is assigned to be the personal guard of the Duchess Spirento. She excels in this role, and is favored by the Duchess above all other members of the Brotherhood. Their close relationship causes friction with the Duchess's husband, the Kanta Maraba. His impotent annoyance becomes the subject of courtly gossip, and the inspiration for a well-received farce, staged at the biggest theater in Otsia.
Ooh.
Time away from the Navy gives Maya Rua some perspective on how Rawatai conducted the Deadfire occupation. No sooner does she return to active duty than she voices her frustrations over some of the more underhanded tactics she witnessed and carried out in the name of the homeland. Her voice carries all the way to the Ranganui, who reminds his admirals that battles are won by superior tactics, but war is a battle of precedent, and winning is not always a victory. The people listen. She looks forward to seeing her brother again. So does Ashiza. The discovery of Ukizo doesn't bring Takehu the answers that he sought, but this proves only a minor setback. Merely knowing that Ngati's Chosen landed on the island ignites something in the Huana tribes. A fervent desire to recover the past and let history illuminate the way forward. Takehu rides this momentum, leading by example and teaching his people to rely on each other instead of on omens. His message is an upheaval of norms, but it's as embraced and beloved as he is. As your paths diverge, Takehu leaves you with a protracted and energetic farewell. He has work to do in the Deadfire, but his heart, and he insists the rest of him, is yours.
Excellent.
You make promises to see each other again on different shores. Your pursuit of Aethys and your journey to Ukizo signal the end of forces that have shaped the lives of Kith and the course of nations. The cycle of reincarnation has been broken. The storms of Andra's mortar have calmed. Yet each ending promises a new beginning. As the sun rises over Ukizo, Kith turn their gaze eastward, wondering at what lies beyond, and at the world they will fashion for themselves. As the Watcher of Cadnua and the former Herald of Bareth, you return to your ship and begin the long journey home. You hope for calm weather.
All right. I think we got a pretty good ending there. I don't know if that was the best possible ending. I don't intend to replay this game a bunch of times and figure out what they are, but what's going on here? There we go. Let's say that was a pretty long black screen. Okay, we just got credits, that's all. Excellent, excellent. Man, this is an awesome game. I keep hearing it's probably some bias going on in my Google newsfeed algorithm, but I keep hearing them talk and hinting about like what a Pillars of Eternity 3 could be. and it absolutely teases me a ton because this game's awesome. So was the first one. I'd love to see a third one. Hopefully that comes out at some point. Strong recommend. Baldur's Gate 3 proved without a shadow of a doubt there's an appetite for these styles. CRPGs is the subgenre that these RPGs are classified in. And a more modern version of this game with some more modern feature sets. I actually saw an article this morning about it, and it was implying that they would have more environmental interactivity like Larian Studios games would if hypothetically a third one was to Pillars of Eternity 3 was to exist. So yeah, strong recommend on this game. As far as the channel moving forward, I'm probably just going to do Avowed 3 times a week on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Not this week, obviously, but starting next week. And then I'll do Cyberpunk Tuesday, Thursday. I think that's the way to go. I want to get through Avowed because Outer Worlds 2 is coming out, and this is rapidly becoming an Obsidian channel, it seems like, but they're releasing a lot of really good games right now, so that's just the way it is. Or games that I think will be good. I definitely like Avowed. I assume Outer Worlds 2 is probably going to be good as well. But unfortunately, that is the end of the episode and the end of the series. Thank you all so very much for watching, and have a good one.